Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we continue with more with New Japan Pro Wrestling with Road to Destruction. We are now in day 4. However, the main event features the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Doiki defends the belt for the first time against a former champion and highly decorated, but also he believes that Doiki doesn't even earn the right to become champion, and we're talking about Taiji Shimori. The real question is, can Doiki retain the belt, or will his short reign will be short? That is something we will see. And then we move on with AEW Dynamite. We're only 2 weeks away from Grand Slam. However, the real question we've been asking: what does Jon Moxley want with Darby Allin? He's been calling him out for the last couple of weeks, ever since at the end of since after All In. That is something we still don't know what's been happening since then. And then of course we have the the Casino Gauntlet tag team match. Whoever walks out as the winner will take a shot of the AEW World Tag Team titles, and of course, various other things are taking place. However, the most interesting thing is, while Bryan Danielson is out for a while, he has targets all over his back. Many wrestlers have been calling him out. So, we'll see what happens until then. But, first things first, as you know, MARIGOLD has begun with their round robin tournament, the Dream Star Grand Prix. However, we only did day 1 for a 2-show 1-day event, the afternoon and the evening show. However, now we're going to review, of course, the day 2, featuring 3 matches of each of the leagues, one from the Dream League and the other from the Star League, and we'll go from there. And then of course we have some news updates to give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, like such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the pro wrestling, where anywhere in the world of pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can put it on a separate video or on the next episode. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions are set aside. It's time to make like a tree and get this show on the road. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is from the Yoshi promotion, MARIGOLD. Okay, day 2 of MARIGOLD's Dream Star Grand Prix. Now remember, last time we reviewed this, it was a 2-show 1-day event. It was an afternoon and an evening show. However, certain wrestlers were not there, especially Sari, who was not involved in this, but however, she is in this one, and she will be in our main event. Now, let's go through the first match, which is a non-title, non-tournament match. Tag team action. We have Miley Grace teaming up with Chiaki. They take on Kizuna Tanaka and, of course, one half of the Twin Star Tag Team Champions, Mirai. Now, nothing too significant about this, but however, when it comes to Chiaki, you all know she is far more, she's determined to cut corners no matter what, because she always brings a chair. She tried to do that opportunity when the referee was knocked down, but luckily, Miley Grace stopped her from using the chair, but it didn't do any good for both of them because eventually they ended up losing this match, all thanks to, of course, Mirai, who actually put down Miley Grace with the short range lariat, and just like that, they picked up the win. Now, our next three matches are part of the Dream League. Our first match, we have Nori versus Chika Goto. Now, Chika Goto, I'm not gonna lie, she is strong and powerful, but she hasn't picked up a win whatsoever. But when it comes to Nori, she's very present. She has been trained by one of the best Yoshi wrestlers from another promotion. I forgot the name of it. But however, she continues to impress me with that high-flying, spinning front kick. And that was her main weapon that put down Chika Goto, allowing her to give her next 2 points. So she walks out with a total of 5 points, with 2 wins and 1 draw. As for Chika Goto, well, she is still in the bottom of the barrel with just 0 points, so she currently does not have any wins. As we speak. Next up, we got Victoria Yuzuki taking on, of course, Utami Ishida. As you know, Utami Ishida did not have a good start, and she lost her first match, but however, she was able to pick up a win in her second. But the real question is, can she pull off a win while teaming with Victoria Yuzuki? Now, there's no denying from many fans who has watched Victoria Yuzuki how much she has grown, how much she has evolved, and they're giving her high expectations. Well, as you know, Tommy is trying to do that as well. But in this scenario, it was, of course, a very impressive one. But however, it was Utami Ishida with the gut wrench slam or whatever that allowed her to pick up her next 2 points with a total of 4 points. So she currently has only 2 wins and 1 loss. As for Victoria Yuzuki, well, she has, of course, 1 draw and I believe 2 losses. So basically, she's she does have some point on the board, but not part of the barrel, just like Chika Goto. Our last match, part of the Dream League, we have Kyoki Omori taking on our current Superfly champion, Natsumi Shizuki. I thought this match was pretty good because, in fact, these two ladies came from At-Risk Girls. We have seen how much they have changed and how much they have evolved to become pro wrestlers. However, we know that many people would think Natsumi Shizuki, who was the current Superfly champion, will pick up a win. But seeing Kyoki Omori, she has very impressed me, not only as a tag team specialist, but as a single competitor. And she was able to do that. She tried to do that twisty frog splash type, but it didn't do any well. It failed her on maybe 2 or 3 occasions. But she was able to pick up the pinfall onto Shizuki, pick up a win with her first 2 points. Now, however, this how it goes. She only has 2 points, while Shizuki only has a 3, which of course 1 win and 1 draw. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kyoki makes the decision, since she defeated, of course, Shizuki. She could actually challenge for the Superfly Championship. I'm sure she'll keep that in mind. Hopefully she does. She could challenge that anytime she wants to. Now let's jump into our last 3 matches involving the Dream Star Grand Prix. We have the Star League. Our first match, we have Mitsa Matsui versus Passion! That's right, Nanane Takahashi. Now, Nanane Takahashi, she is tough as nails for a lady of her age. She refuses to stay down no matter what, but she expects you to hit her hard to impress her. I mean, we know that this is not the first time they fought. Of course, Nisa Matsui was involved in a passion injection match and she lost, but however, we know she's strong, we know she can surprise us, but she needs to find that one moment that she needs in order to climb up the ladder, and that's exactly what she needed. She was very close on various occasions. She tried multiple magistrals, but it did not work in her favor. But in fact, it was Nana Takahashi who picked up the win by slamming her down, and just like that, she gets her first 2 points. Um, while of course Misa Masui ended up still in zero, so she hasn't won a single match. Our next match, we have Bozilla versus Miku Anu. Now, this is not the first time these two have faced. Remember, they were part of the finals of the white belt, aka the United National Championship. Bozilla, as you know, she is as strong as nails. Miku Anu is a wrestler that should not be underestimated. She's a force to be reckoned with. But Bozilla is strong and powerful. She picked up a win. Instead of using the pile driver she normally uses, she uses the style clash, which Miku Anu has been using since the entirety of her career. And now Bozilla used that against her, allowing her to pick up the win. So she is currently, right now, undefeated with 6 points. Miku Anu has 4, so that means she has 2 wins and 1 loss. So the real question we ask ourselves, would this affect her? But however, just like I said about Kyuki Omori, she could challenge Shozuki for the Super Light Champion. However, Miku Anu, on the other hand, is the current United National Champion. So basically, Bozilla can challenge her for the belt if she does not if she does not advance. But we will see what happens. Now, our main event, we have Mai Sakurai versus Suri. This is a very interesting matchup because I talked about how Suri talked about Mai Sakurai, saying that she wants her to be something else away from what Julia was. Like, try to be yourself. And that's exactly what she was trying to do. Now, I give Mai Sakurai credit that she tried to attack her because she wants to prove people wrong, and she wants to be the one to elevate MARIGOLD. But however, when it comes to Suri, she's not the type of person who would just stay down easily. Of course, Sakurai tried everything that she can think of in her own playbook, but in the end, it was Suri with the Uranagi, and just like that, she gets her first 2 points. Now, I don't know what they said in the promo, but I'm sure Suri gave her some props, and she sees something in her. We know Suri is a veteran. We know she sees some things in other wrestlers, but we just have to wait and see what happens. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for MARIGOLD. So let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, day 4 of Road to Destruction by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, our opening match, we have, of course, Katsuya Murashima and, of course, Shoma Kato taking on Tiger Mask and Tomi Akihama. However, now in this type of match, when it comes to the Young Lions, they are mostly lose to their opponents, especially with their senpais. It was Tiger Mask, in the other hand, who picked up the win when he applied the Tiger Suplex on Murashima, and just like that, it was completely over. Our next match, we have singles action. We have Francesco Akira of the United Empire taking on Takamichi Nuku of Just 5 Guys. Now, these 2 guys, there's no secret that they are junior heavyweight competitors. That is something we can guarantee. But however, it was Francesco Akira with the fireball that allowed him to win this match, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll go from there. Our next match, we have the other members of Just 5 Guys, consistent of Taichi and Sanada, taking on TMDK's Kosa Fujita and Zack Sabre Jr. So nothing too significant about this match, but we know that Taichi has some history with Zack Sabre Jr. We know Sanada has faced him before, but however, this one was one of the most biggest surprises that we didn't expect. We don't know how this will affect Zack Sabre Jr. because it was Sanada who picked up the win with the deadfall onto Zack Sabre Jr. to pick up the win. But the real question is, how will this affect Zack Sabre Jr.? As you know, he is the current one who is determined to challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title at King of Pro Wrestling. Well, we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Shota Umino, Ryusuke Taguchi, along with the current Never Openweight six-man tag team champions, Bolton Oleg, Toru Yano, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, once again, they face those sleazeball of a scumbag excuse of a faction, House of Losers, consisting of Kanemaru, Sho, Dick Togo, and Yujiro and Evil. Now, on note, Ren Narita is not involved in this match. He is out on injury. He will be missing out on in the Sendai show, from my understanding. But, however, of course, when it comes to, of course, in this type of match, we know that the House of Torture are determined to, of course, use dirty tactics, which they did when they spit whiskey into Kanemaru spit whiskey into Taguchi's eyes, and then of course the magic killer from Evil and Dick Togo on Taniguchi that pick up the win by Dick, and just like that. Now we do know that of course Evil is determined to challenge for the never openweight six-man tag team champions, but Tanahashi has not granted their permission. We know that of course the Tanahashi, the House of Torture, are a pain in the ass, but Evil is telling the entire world Tanahashi is an incompetent president. He doesn't earn the right to decide for everybody else, but he is the boss. He makes the decisions. Now, our next match, we have Chaos members consistent of Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi. They face against the members of the Bullet Club War Dogs, consistent of Jake Lee, Gabe Kidd, and of course David Finlay. Now remember, not too long ago, Yoshihashi pinned David Finlay, and he gets a shot of the IWGP Global Championship. That is something. However, when it comes to wrestlers like Jake Lee and Gabe Kidd, they're all in. They are determined to pick up the win. But however, Jake Lee injured himself in the ring, and he was pulled out, so it became a 2-on-3 type of scenario. But however, in this match, there was a brainbuster onto Kidd, allowed him to win the match. There was a moment that Kidd was, in fact, looked more like the ref was expecting Kidd to kick out, but he didn't, so he might have hurt his head. I think there was a major botch, but however, of course, all the fight continued on the outside. So we'll see where that leads us from there. Now, our next match, as you know, certain things are happening within two of the current factions, United Empire and LIJ. For the United Empire, we have Jacob Austin Young, Cal Newman, Hinare, Jeff Cobb, and Grado Khan. They take on LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji, and Tetsuya Naito. Now, don't forget, Khan issued a challenge against Naito since he defeated him at the 5-Star Grand Prix. He wants a title shot. We know that, of course, Hinare put his never openweight championship against Shingo Takagi once again on this one, so anything could happen. But however, in this particular match, it was Naito who picked up the win when he applied a submission onto Jacob Austin Young, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, for the next match, we have our main event is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. We have Doiki defending the belt for the first time. Now, of course, some wrestlers would think that Taichi didn't deserve to become champion. He doesn't have a good track record when it comes to making it to all the way, but this was an opportunity he knew he couldn't throw away when it comes to Despy for what he'd said to him. And that's exactly what happened. However, in this particular match, it was Doiki who picked up the win when he applied Surplix de la Luna, retaining his belt. I thought he was going to lose it, but he was able to withstand it. However, he put out a nice promo. I don't know what he said. But as soon as the other members of Just Five Guys, Taka, Taichi, and Sonata left, that scumbag Kanemaru attacked. Most likely, I think he wants to challenge him for the title. And then, of course, the other guys showed up. So this is not going to go well. Don't forget, Kanemaru and Doiki were once members of Suzuki Gun until they became members of the Just Five Guys. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll end things right here and move on with AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. Now we're only 2 weeks away before Grand Slam. Now it opened up with an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone talking to Christian Cage. As you all know, he is the current holder of a AEW World Title Shot contract. Now, of course, he goes out to say that the word on the street that people are worshiping a load of horse crap. But however, he is determined to prove that he is carrying the company on his back. Well, he does not, because he is not holding the belt. However, he is also gunning for the AEW World Title. We don't know how the situation is, but as you know, Bryan Danielson, he's not there at all. So we'll see what happens until then. However, in the back, we see, of course, Renee Paquette doing an interview with the members of the Don Callis family and Will Ospreay. However, Don Callis came up with a proposition for a favor. Basically, those who know this, Will Ospreay has won two Casino Gauntlet matches. One that led him to win the International Championship, and the other one he got that match against Swerve at the Forbidden Door. Now there's the tag team, so he's asking him to team up with Kyle Fletcher, and he is willing to oblige. So that will be our main event. Now, our first match is the TNT title match. Jack Perry defends the belt against Lio Rush. Now, Lio Rush has speed in his corner, but when it comes to Jack Perry, he is not playing games. He is determined to prove his point, and that's exactly what he did when he took him out with the knee strike. And just like that, he just walked away in his little scapegoat bus. So we'll see what happens. Now, Renee Paquette talked to Hangman Page. As you know, everything has changed ever since, of course, defeated Swerve. So where is his head? So basically, there's a lot of things going around. So as soon as he left, he attacked the person. Top Flight, along with Layla Gray, were trying to stay away from him. Even the Dark Order are like, we don't know you. So basically, then Jeff Jarrett, on the other hand, got in his face, and it became a mess. So we don't know what's going on with him. Some people say that maybe this match with Swerve might have got to him. So we'll see where that leads us in a way. Now, Private Party and Commander were supposed to have their match, but they were brutally interrupted by, of course, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Marina Shafir. But Pac decided to speak out, saying that there's a lot of problems going around in AEW when it comes to, of course, the higher management. He said it's corrupt and it's very much needs to be put in order. So he's disappointed how things are going down. But we don't know what's going to happen until then. But of course, Jon Moxley was looking outside, see if he sees Darby Allin. But we know he's in the building. He showed up earlier in his skateboard. Now, Jericho and company made their way to we're talking about Orange Cassidy when they took his backpack. We will see him a little later. Now, our next match, we have Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara. We know that Sammy is a very talented wrestler. We know he's capable what he's capable of. When it comes to Ricochet, he is something else. So this is more like Sammy can hang with Ricochet, but it was Ricochet with the big vertigo that allowed him to pick up the win. But all of a sudden, Mortals just attacked him, and Sammy defended Ricochet. We don't know where this is going to lead to, but down the line we'll see. Now, what's his name? Renee Paquette conducts another interview, but this time with Okada. As you know, he defended his belt in a four-way match, but this time it seems that Takeshita is still aiming for that belt. So the real question is what Okada's going to do. Well, that is a good question, but we will see where that goes from there. Now, Darby Allin made his way to the ring, took his time until he called out Moxley, telling him what he wanted to know. But Darby decided to talk to him, like, what is wrong with you and all this, and he told him how much he looked up to him. But what he did to Darby Allin was unspeakable. But of course, Jon Moxley tried to peace with him, so he had one thing he wanted to tell him: to hand over the opportunity for the AEW World Title in Grand Slam. Now, Darby Allin is like, are you joking with me? And the only reason Jon Moxley is asking this is because he feels that Bryan Danielson is not the man that he is. He violated the principles of what the Blackpool Combat Club were all about and all this and that. However, he thinks that Darby Allin is nowhere near ready for that title shot. But of course, Darby wasn't going to give it to him because he says so. He said, I earned this title shot. I deserved it. But he told him, if you want this, you got to earn it. So he will put him in, he said there's going to be a match next week for it. So we'll see where that goes from there. Now, speaking of world titles, while Christopher Daniels was listening to all of this, Nigel McGuinness even showed up, to talk. Said he has something he wants to tell him and the boss himself, Tony Khan. Now, our next match is for the AEW World Women's Championship Eliminator match. Mariah May versus Queen Aminata. Now, remember, Queen Aminata saved Sky Blue from Mariah May, who kicked her out of her crutches. And, of course, Mariah May slaughtered her by using, once again, Storm Zero. However, during the post-match promo, she called out Mina. Now, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this part of the whole thing with Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May. Mina did state that she's not sure what Mariah would think or say to her. Now, a part of me would think that there's a possibility that she feels she's not complete. She defeated her mentor, Tony Storm. But what about her other mentor, Mina Shirakawa? I know that Mina has been a mentor to her in Japan ever since she went there, so it would be an interesting thing. But the real question is, what will Mina say? I'm sure she heard what Mariah said. I haven't heard anything yet on X if she said anything. But she said she's a little worried about what is going to happen. So, we'll see what happens until then. Whew. All right. Now, moving on. Where are we? Oh, yes. The Bucks, once again, as you know, they heard what people were saying, that they are not pulling their weight. All they are doing is pushing pencils. So they said they're going to have a front row seat at the Casino Gauntlet Tag Team Battle Royale. So we're going to see what happens until then. Our next match, we have the Iron Savages versus, of course, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. However, I can tell you this match ended with Chris Jericho picking the win on Jack Jiminson, all thanks to Big Bill, to Brian Keith. However, of course, Jericho wanted to show the world what Orange Cassidy had on his backpack, which is a picture of his best friends. He tells him that he needs to stop with this friendship and worry about other things, like the $7,000. So he said he had his money. Well, Orange Cassidy had his money in coins and dump it on his new luxurious car, and I thought it was just too goddamn funny. So I thought it was really funny. So now I had a feeling that this guy who cries like a little girl and all he ever cared about is defeating Bryan Danielson, he said he has issued a challenge him for his AEW World title at Grand Slam, and he's declaring that Bryan Danielson is scared of him. I don't know if he's scared of him. I'm sure, he's going to think he's delusional. I don't know. But we'll see what happens until then. But for now, it's already been made official. Now, Hook called out Broderick Strong. He knows that he's after now the FTW Championship, so we'll see where that goes. Now, the Young Bucks take their place to see. We have the Casino the Casino Gauntlet match for the tag team titles. We have many teams. We have Ospreay and Fletcher, FTR, GYV, Undisputed Kingdom, who else? A few others. So we weren't too sure where this is going to go. We know that FTR has some unfinished business towards, of course, towards GYV, but in the end it was Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay to pick up the win. So we will see those guys face the Bucks at, of course, at the Grand Slam, and we'll go from there. So I'm excited for the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens. But for now, we are done with this. Let's move on to our next and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So what we have today, let's begin with our upcoming events from the promotions. For GCW, we have 2 events. Now, I mentioned this before on a special announcement that GCW will be here in San Diego, California on October 31st, of course, and it will be at the Primal Compound. So, tickets have not been on sale yet, but I will make an announcement about that possibly on Friday to give you guys a clear idea what's happening. And of course, they announced another big event on the 23rd of November, I believe. Yes, the 23rd, the American Dream Mall. And this one will feature Kurt Angle for the first time being there. That's right. You suck. You suck. Yep. So he will be there. Now, more names have been adding up for the upcoming British J Cup by RevPro. We have Robbie X. We have Kid Lycos, and of course, the Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles. House of Glory has announced for the Believe in the Glory on September 29th. The House of Glory Cruiserweight Championship will be defended. Gringo Loco defends the belt against the master of the Tornado DDT, Fuego del Sol. Now, 2 things have come up for the upcoming West Coast Pro event. That thing that should not be on the 11th of October. We have the debut of Bodie Young Prodigy, so he will be making his debut in this promotion. However, in his debut, he will team up with Princess Azul and Leon Slater to take on High End, Toxin, and Latigo. Now, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for the Forge in Excellence on the 19th and 20th of October. 2 things have been announced. The Sauce, Alex Zane, will be making his appearance, and we also have an interesting match, and this one is for the ROH Women's World Championship. Athena defends her belt against the quintessential diva, Giselle Shaw, so I'm looking forward to that. Now, we only have 2 developments here taking place. Let me pull up my phone real quick. As you all know, the Blade is out of action. He had to go on to surgery. He just posted on his Instagram page, so let me pull it up on this thing real quick for all of you. Yes. This is what he said. Back fusion was a success. Thank you to everyone for your continued support. Means a lot to this grizzled vet utility brother. Wishing him speedy recovery. Yep. So basically, he is doing good. I'm glad. Hopefully, we get to see him soon. Ricochet has also been. He talked with Battleground Podcast, explaining that he wants to wrestle in the G1 in the future plans, and this is what he says: "I already won the best of the Super Juniors. I feel I should upgrade my goals to the G1 for sure. There are a lot of things between I didn't get to accomplish, and that I still plan on accomplishing." You know, I have to say, he's right. Why not? I mean, we've seen Will Ospreay win this type of thing, so that would be something we definitely could see. So I think that's pretty much it for our news updates. So I think it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have TNA and Ring of Honor. Now, I haven't decided yet if there's going to be any other reviews I want to do, but I'll see what I can do because I go in at work around 8 o'clock in the morning and I won't be off until 6 p.m. So I probably will do only 2, maybe 2, 3, I don't know. We'll see how the thing will go, how my day will go exactly. Sometimes things don't go according to plan. But before we go, as you know, today is September 11th, 2024. This, of course, is a day that we will never forget. You know what? This is a day, of course, where a couple of terrorists attacked us and put America to fight back. But my thoughts and prayers are to everyone who lost their lives, and I pray for the loved ones to hopefully find peace. And I know that some are missing. For example, those who know this, Selena Vega, currently with in WWE. Her father was amongst those casualties in the Twin Towers. Selena Vega often talked about that day, how he called her when the towers already hit and he was, saying his goodbyes, knowing that the end was inevitable. And I know deep down he is looking down on her, proud of her accomplishments and all that. I'm sure he will love to be an awesome father-in-law to, of course, Malachi Black, and maybe one day meet his grandchildren. but unfortunately he's not here for that. So my prayers are to her and to her family, and of course anybody who lost their loved one involved in that day. So that will be a day we will never forget. Some of you may probably ask me, where was I when that happened? Well, I think I was 16 years old or so, or 17. I was at school when the whole thing happened, but that was a wake up call for me to say, this is reality. Like, all fun and games are done. But that's a day we will never forget. But until then, I will see you guys on the next episode. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.